Feliz Navidad, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year from Kiss.
Feliz Navidad, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas from Kiss.
Ho, ho, ho! I'm wishing everybody a really Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year.
Someone stole Santa? That does not rock!
What's going on, Vinyl community and Kiss Army? Welcome to the 25th and final episode of the 25 Days of KISSMAS series. I have reviewed every Kiss studio album plus more throughout the whole month of December from the 1st to the 24th. And now, if you're watching this when it goes up, it's Kissmas Day, and I'm wrapping up the series by doing an updated Kiss vinyl collection video. 2 years ago, I showcased my Kiss vinyl collection for the first time, and obviously that video has outdated itself with numerous new releases, Kiss Online exclusives, bootlegs, and upgrades acquired. So I figured a sufficient amount of time had passed for me to do an updated video. Plus, side note, when I filmed that video, I was battling the tail end of my first bout of COVID, so I wasn't really my usual eager self on camera, so it's nice to do a 180 this time around. But this updated video isn't going to be just my main Kiss record collection. I'm going to take it a step beyond that and showcase solo releases by past and present band members, Wicked Lester releases, notable vintage pressings that I have that are outside of the main collection, and more oddities of the sort. I'm filming this video now, and yet there's more additions coming on their way. So right now, as of December 2023, this is my Kiss vinyl collection. There's quite a lot to get through, so enough of the chit chat. Let's jump into what this video is all about. Now, because the Kiss stuff is one of the more expansive parts of my entire record collection, it is marked off with its own divider card. This is made out of wood, and it has the band's logo there with each member's faces inside. And this was made by Things by Don, which is run by the father of my good friend Marikin over at the Youngest Members of the VC. And I'm not going to be taking everything out of the jackets and boxes just because this video would go on much longer than I anticipate it going. But I will aim to be as in-depth and explanatory as possible with each release. So starting off with, what would you guess, a bootleg. This is Alive in Amityville, June 1973. This is the earliest known live recording of the band, recorded at the Daisy. This is back when they were doing all the club shows before they got signed to Casablanca. Really solid show, soundboard recording, and includes some tracks such as Life in the Woods, Simple Type, which dates back to Wicked Lester, as well as Acrobat. And overall, it's a solid package. Here's the track list there so you can see. A really great early recording. Then we have Electric Ladies and White-Faced Demons. So this consists of their original demo produced by Eddie Kramer from 1973. And there's also some rehearsal recordings of things such as Life in the Woods, Acrobat, and other songs. So this is a pretty solid early collection. Now let's get to actual studio albums. Now, for the most part, in the main collection, the copies that I have of the main core Kiss catalog do consist of the 2014 reissues, Kiss Online exclusives, unofficial presses, and things like that. And just to kind of get the disclaimer out there. But I do have notable vintage pressings that I'm going to showcase a little bit later on in this video of those specific albums. So let's start with the debut. So here is a 2014 reissue. And as you can see, this is signed by Peter Criss when I met him at the Atlantic City Horror Con. Here is an unofficial pressing. This is pressed on blue vinyl. And then here is an unofficial picture disc of the same album. Obviously, as you can see, there's a little sticker right there on the jackets. Next up, we have April Fool. This is a radio broadcast from Cleveland, 1974. Fantastic recording overall. And there's 4 different covers of this. This is the Gene one. Obviously, there's ones for Paul, Peter, and Ace. It also comes with a nice poster pressed on white vinyl. And then this is live at the Michigan Palace, roughly a week later from 74. This is another picture disc. It's available as a 4-piece set with each member getting its own disc, but I was able to get one broken up, placed it in a black jacket, and this is the backing sheet that came with the picture disc. So overall, pretty solid stuff. Next up is Living the Dream. This is limited to 100 copies on marbled vinyl, and this is a radio broadcast as well from Memphis, Tennessee from April 74, and this features Acrobat in the set list as well, and that recording was featured in the Kissology 1 DVD when it synced to the Long Beach footage. Now we get to Hotter Than Hell. So here is a 2014 reissue. Here is a unofficial pressing on blue vinyl, and the center label for this is the same of the 1977 Pi Records pressing with the Love Gun sort of custom label, I guess you could say. It's mainly the Records and Filmworks label with the guys as they appear on the Love Gun cover. So that's that. And here is a German pressing as well from 2014. Here is a very cool piece. I definitely did an unboxing of this some time ago, and that is the Hotter Than Hell Tour 74 to 75 picture disc box set, and this includes every known bootleg recording from the tour, and they're all soundboard recordings. Comes with a book and a whole bunch of extras. This is really, really solid stuff. Moving on to Dress to Kill, 2014 reissue, 2014 German pressing. And then here is an unofficial press on red vinyl. Also comes with a poster. I like the fact that this unofficial version comes on red vinyl because there is that elusive Kiss Online exclusive red vinyl pressing, which is limited to 500, and it's so hard to come by and pricey. So this is a really cool one to have. And then here is the Demons of Rock and Roll picture disc box set. This brings together a couple of audience recordings from the first part of the Dress to Kill tour. These are all shows before they did the Cobo Hall show, which was recorded for Alive. And also, fun fact, the show from the Tower Theater from Philly, May 75, my father was at that show. So it's nice that I have something that he was present at. And of course, it's thanks to him that I became a big fan. Drive You Crazy. This is a soundboard recording from Tulsa, June 1975. Numbered, colored vinyl. This is one of my favorite bootlegs from the Dress to Kill tour. Overkill Kabuki Theater. This is an audience recording from Providence, August 3rd, 1975. They were opening for Black Sabbath for this show, and it sounds absolutely great. Great audience recording, too. This is one of the best ones from the Dress to Kill tour. Second Kiss in Long Beach, another audience recording, but it's funny enough that it's called Second Kiss in Long Beach because it is recorded at the Calderon Concert Hall in Hempstead, New York, August 23rd, 1975. A little rough sounding, but pretty decent, I would say. Kiss Alive outtakes. So this consists of recordings from the King Biscuit Flower Hour broadcast, which were from the shows recorded for Alive, along with some of the Rock Band tracks that appeared, where they actually used original multi-tracks. I say that loosely because there might be some re-recorded things, but there's some cool alternate versions on this particular release, and there's also a live recording of Let Me Know from the Cleveland show. So could have been included, so it kind of gives you that sense of what it would have sounded like if it was featured on Alive. And then here we have First I Drink and Then I Smoke, the unreleased 75 Magna Graphics Studio demos. These demos have been released officially on the Destroyer Super Deluxe box set. So you get things like Don't You Hesitate, demos of God of Thunder, Detroit Rock City, and then there's also a lot of Gene demos of things that appeared on his 78 solo album, such as Burning Up with Fever, True Confessions, Mad Dog, which turned into Flaming Youth, all kinds of good stuff. This is actually one of my favorite Kiss demo releases. We're at the next cube, and I already need a step stool. But moving onward, now we get to Alive. 2014 reissue, 2014 German pressing. Here is a rather interesting one. So this is a 2008 Back to Black reissue. The labels that are featured on this are the 76 Caspa label, and this is also mastered by Kevin Gray, and he's one of my favorite mastering engineers. So to think that he did the greatest live album of all time is really special. So that's a cool piece. And here is an oddity. So this is an unofficial pressing of Alive. It's on yellow vinyl. The custom center labels are of the pink glitter logo that appears with the booklet that came with the album. But look at the cover. It is an outtake from the photo sessions for the album cover. So I just found that to be a little interesting. Now we have The Towering Inferno. This is an audience recording from the Tower Theater in Philly from October 3rd, 75 from the Alive tour. Audience recording, but sounds pretty decent. Here's a really cool one. This is Largo 75. This is basically a soundboard feed from the video that circulates from this show. And what's cool about it is that it features them doing Ladies in Waiting. So that's pretty solid. Next up is Thunder Rock. This is one of the Cobo Hall shows from 76. This is the third night from January 27th, and this is the Ace version because there's different versions out there with different members, and it comes pressed on blue vinyl, and it's also limited and numbered as well. Pretty solid. Now we get to Destroyer. So here, 2014 reissue. Also have a 2014 German pressing. And as always, here is Destroyer Resurrected. This is the 2012 remix, and this is the Walmart exclusive that comes pressed on orange vinyl. Here is the 2LP 45th Anniversary Deluxe Edition, and this is the Kiss Online exclusive, which comes pressed on red and yellow vinyl. And then here is a German pressing of that deluxe version on standard black. And as you can see, it doesn't quite have the Z censored logo. This is the original logo that appeared on the original German pressing from 76, which is pretty cool. More bootlegs coming up. This is Flaming Youth. This is live at the Summit in Houston on August 8th, 1976. Incomplete show, but soundboard source sounds absolutely killer. Now we have Kiss Destroys Anaheim. This is the notable audience recording from one of the best-known early Kiss bootlegs of the time. And what's cool with this is that it includes the complete show audience recording form from Anaheim, as well as other tracks from the Hampstead, New York show that Second Kiss in Long Beach features. So between those two releases, you have a full show. And then here we have Anaheim, the complete soundboard. So same show as what I just showed you, but soundboard source. And this is a beautiful bootleg package. Obi strip, booklet, poster, colored vinyl. Absolutely tremendous. Here we have all new Bizarre Stage show, uncut soundboard show from, I believe this is Cleveland. From, I believe this was early September of 1976. Quite a notable show. And then fast forward, we have Varsity Stadium from September the 6th. This is live in Toronto, another soundboard show, and it sounds absolutely spectacular. All between this one, as well as Cleveland and Anaheim, booklets, posters, Obi strips, amazing, amazing stuff. And then here is the Spirit of 76 box set, kind of similar to the Hotter Than Hell and Demons of Rock box sets. 4 picture discs. I believe the shows featured in here are Jersey City soundboard, as well as Springfield audience recording, booklets, all kinds of extra goodies. Solid stuff. Now we get into Rock and Roll Over, 2014 reissue, 2014 German pressing, and then here is a picture disc as well, Kiss Online exclusive. Choppers and Chicks, these are Rock and Roll Over tour rehearsals from the Camp Curtis Guild Armory from Reading, Massachusetts. This is one source of that because there's also Rock and Roll Over tour rehearsals, same rehearsals, but a different source, as well as duplicates of songs and such. And you also hear them go through renditions of Love 'Em and Leave 'Em, Hard Luck Woman, as well as Strutter, which disappeared in the tour set list later on. So it's cool to have this. Happy New Year. This is an audience recording from Providence, Rhode Island from January 1st, 1977. And there's also a couple of bonus cuts from the tour rehearsals, some of which I believe appear in one of those bootlegs that I just showed. A Taste of Hell. This is a full soundboard recording from the Budokan from April 2nd, 1977. Full show on 2 LPs, and then the third LP is devoted to the HBO broadcast, which is a truncated version of the show. So you get both versions here. Here is Blitz Japan 1977. This is a compilation of various audience recordings from the Japanese tour. You get things from Tokyo, Nagoya, and it's mainly just between those two cities and various afternoon, evening shows, things like that. Colored vinyl, glossy inner sleeve, hype sticker, and such. Here is Alive 2, the outtakes. This is basically the unreleased Rock and Roll Party in Tokyo live album that was supposed to come out, which got scrapped and Alive 2 was done. But some of this does appear on Alive 2, but this is basically the unreleased Japanese live album. And now we get to Love Gun. Now, judging by the copyright dates here, this right here is the Walmart exclusive pressing, which comes pressed on orange with blue splatter. Here is the Kiss Online exclusive pressing on gold vinyl. 2014 German pressing. And then here is an unofficial pressing on sort of marbled lilac colored vinyl. 50 million Kiss fans can't be wrong. This is a soundboard recording from the Cow Palace on August 16th, 1977, the day the King died, Elvis Presley. As you can tell, with a little homage to Elvis with this particular artwork featuring many jeans. Alive in Houston, September 1977. This is basically a soundboard feed from the video of the show from the Summit in Houston. There's two shows in particular. This one is from September 1st. This one, I guess, is the more uncommon show, just because the one from September 2nd is featured on Kissology, so quite notable to have this. And what's interesting is that it does eliminate tracks that appeared from the first three albums, so we have stuff that's exclusively from Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, as well as Love Gun. Kind of keeping it in line with the Alive 2 album, sort of. And then here is the Can-Am Tour 1977. So this includes, I believe, a show from Montreal from 77, audience recording, as well as, I believe, Fort Worth from 77, soundboard. And there's even some alternate mixes of the studio cuts from Alive 2 featured in the set as well. 4 picture discs, booklet, all kinds of extras. Now moving on to the other cube, and we get into Alive 2. This right here is the Kiss Online exclusive pressing on splatter vinyl, and what's cool about this is that it has the blue text on this version, as opposed to the one that everyone knows, which is the red text featured here, and this is an unofficial pressing on a red vinyl. Alive 2 Winter Tour. This is live in Landover, Maryland, from December 20th, 1977. Basically a soundboard feed from the video that circulates of this show, which is honestly one of the finest Kiss shows out there from the 70s captured on video. Here is the Madison Square Garden 1977 box set. This brings together 2 audience recordings from the Garden from the Alive 2 tour. Very rough sounding quality, but the packaging does make up for it immensely. And then here is an interesting one. This is a compilation. This is Diamonds in the Dust. So this is a compilation of various tracks recorded from certain tours that are kind of like oddities from the given tours. So you get things like Room Service live in 75, Love Theme from Kiss 74, Strutter Hard Luck Woman from 76, Ladies in Waiting, Flaming Youth and Watching You from Jersey City 76, and Deuce from 78, which was only played once. So because that last recording takes place in 78, it's featured here. Then we get to Double Platinum. Now here is the standard picture disc that was exclusive to Kiss Online. And then here is the German pressing from, I believe it was 2018, which comes pressed on silver vinyl, has late 70s era photos in the gatefold, along with the award and everything. Quite a cool piece to have. Now we get to the solo albums. So here is a European 2014 pressing of Paul's album. And here is a mid-2000s Russian picture disc of that. And you'll notice a pattern with all of these, basically. Here's Gene's US 2014 Russian picture disc. Peter's, this is another 2014 European version similar to Paul's. Russian picture disc. US 2014 Ace. Russian picture disc. Now we get to Dynasty. So here we have a 2014 reissue, and here is an unofficial press on red vinyl. The Greatest Show on Earth. So these are the tour rehearsals from Lakeland, Florida in June of '79 before the tour took place. Pretty solid rehearsal. It's just them running through the songs. Paul's stage raps are just completely watered down entirely. Focuses in exclusively on the music. Atlanta, '79. This is an incomplete soundboard recording from the early part of the Dynasty tour. I say early because they were playing Radioactive, Move On, and some other songs that disappeared later on in the tour. Providence, 1979, first night. There is also a second night, but according to the guy that I got this from, this is the better of the two, so got my hands on this. Too Much Catnip. This is a soundboard recording from Knoxville, Tennessee, September 12th, 1979. Later part of the tour, because then they worked in Let Me Go Rock and Roll, and they took out Radioactive and Tossin' and Turnin'. So soundboard show there. Here is Best of the Solo Albums. This is a German press from, I want to say this is 2018 or 2019. Comes pressed on white vinyl with black splatter. Really solid compilation here of the solo albums. And now we get to Unmasked. So this is the Kiss Online exclusive press, which comes on white vinyl with color splatter. And then here is an unofficial pressing on yellow vinyl. Egos at the Stake. This is an audience recording from Wembley, 1980, from London. This is one of the notable early Kiss bootlegs, and it's a fantastic recording as well. Really enjoyable. And what's great about this is that you get to hear the track You're All That I Want, which disappeared from the set list. Kiss Tour 1980 Unmasked. This is Cologne 1980, obviously recorded live in Germany, hence the German logo that you see here. This is a soundboard recording, but it's a little rough around the edges. Not all soundboards are perfect, but it's an interesting one to have. Here's one of my favorites. This is Western Springs Stadium, Auckland, 1980. This is live in New Zealand. Soundboard show. Sounds great. Comes with a nice poster and such. And this is actually Ace Frehley's last show before the 1996 reunion. Now we get into The Elder, and there's a lot here. I love The Elder, personally. Here is a 2014 reissue. 2014 German press. Here is a picture disc from Kiss Online, and here is a German exclusive half-speed master on clear vinyl, and it also does come with a shopping bag as well. I have it in a slightly larger bag because of that. Here is probably the most impressive official Kiss vinyl pressing. I say official because I love my bootlegs. Here is Kiss Killers, and this is the 2LP 45 RPM pink vinyl German pressing, which brings together the track list from all various forms of this compilation. It is numbered, it comes with stickers and all kinds of inserts. It sounds absolutely spectacular. And if I don't want to press the 45 RPM button, I have a single LP unofficial press of Killers as well, which is pretty solid to have. Now we get to Creatures, and there's a lot as well. So here is a, wait, wrong one. 2014 reissue. Here is the 2022 40th anniversary half-speed master version with the glow-in-the-dark eyes on the jackets. Here is the 3LP deluxe version, exclusive to Kiss Online, pressed on black vinyl. You get the main album, demos, rarities, and outtakes, as well as some live soundboard recordings as well. Here is an infamous one. Here is an unofficial press on purple vinyl. This is the Vinny cover, which was bootlegged back in Brazil back in the 80s when this first came out. So it's essentially an unofficial pressing of an unofficial pressing. I don't know, just given the lore with this this particular album and this cover, I had to have it in my collection. And then here is another unofficial press, standard jacket on gorgeous colored vinyl with a poster. So that's pretty cool to have. And then we have Montreal, Canada, 1983. A little bit of a rough audience recording, but it's great because you have the Obi. I believe there is the little assembled war tank from the stage in here. And I think there's a poster in here as well. I'm not quite sure. But like I said, rough audience recording, but one of those cases where the packaging makes up for it. Next row down, I no longer need the step stool. Moving onward. Chronicles of the Night. This is 2 different shows from the Creatures Tour, audience recordings. We have Terre Haute, Indiana, and Nashville, Tennessee. Numbered box set, comes with a cool insert. Nice package overall. Here we have Saints and Toronto. This is a soundboard show from Maple Leaf Gardens, Toronto on January 14th, 1983. Then we have Creatures of the Nighttime World. This is a soundboard show from El Paso, Texas on March 23rd, 1983. Takes up the main 2 LPs, and then there's also a 3rd LP of a hypothetical Creatures live album called Creatures of the Nighttime World with various different tracks that were performed during the tour that didn't quite survive in the set list. So it's a pretty cool thing to behold. Now we get into the non-makeup period. Now we get into Lick It Up. Here we have a 2014 reissue. And then here is an unofficial pressing on purple vinyl. Check this out. This is Damned, Cursed, Guilty, and Abused, the complete Nashville 84 Chronicles. So this focuses in on a show from Nashville from January 11th, 1984. You get the full show on 3 LPs, soundboard source, sounds fantastic. And then you get the single LP, King Biscuit Flower Hour broadcast, which is truncated. So you kind of get the best of both worlds complete, as well as the broadcast here. And then this one here is Lock Up Your Daughters. We Are Coming to Your Town. This is in Albuquerque, New Mexico, January 22nd, 1984. Another fantastic soundboard recording. And then as a contrast, we have an audience recording here. This is live in Reno, Nevada, January 31st, 1984. Legends Never Die. There's also a cool poster that comes with this that has this band photo, and it looks absolutely spectacular. Now we get into Animalized. Here is a 2014 reissue. Here is a 2014 German pressing. Here is Animalized live at the Apollo. This is a radio broadcast done over at the Apollo Theatre in Glasgow, Scotland, October 5th, 1984. Solid set list with Bruce, and this is one of the best broadcast recordings from this period. Here is a really cool one. This is Mark St. John, Under the Gun. This is the one of 2 full shows that Mark St. John did with the band. This is in Binghamton, New York on November 29th, 1984. Audience recording, just great to have for historical purposes. And then moving on to Animalize Live Chronicles. So we have the show from Cobo Hall on December 8th, which was a radio broadcast, but it was also this show that was filmed for the Animalized Live Uncensored home video. And then there's also Ipswich, England, October 11th, 1984, which I believe that is a soundboard show as well. I think, or an audience recording. I'll have to double check and listen to it again. But you get 2 shows featured here with a numbered certificate, insert, and such. Kind of similar to the Chronicles of the Night box that I just showed. And then here we have Bad Bunch of Motherfuckers. This is a soundboard recording from Calgary, 1985. And then here is Bruce Kulick Is Our Brother. This is from East Rutherford, New Jersey, 1985. And I believe this is the last show of the Animalized tour. I have to double check, but it's a cool release here once Bruce was brought officially into the fold. Now moving on to Asylum, 2014 reissue. And then here is Accept No Imitations. This is actually from the opening night of the Asylum tour. This is live in Little Rock, Arkansas. And this is cool because they were pulling things out such as King of the Mountain, Any Way You Slice It, as well as, did they do All Night? Yes, they did. So this is a cool release to have. Comes pressed on splatter vinyl. Looks absolutely tremendous. Here is Alive 86. This is live in Indianapolis, 1986. Audience recording, but sounds very good. And another one with fantastic packaging, Obi strip, posters, booklets, stickers, all that good stuff. This is a great one to have. And then here we have Condemnation, the alternative Crazy Nights outtakes albums. This is basically the Crazy Nights album in demo form with some other songs. Some of the other tracks on here that did not appear on the record are You Always This Hot and Sword in Stone. So it's cool that you get those tracks featured here. Crazy Nights 2014 reissue. Here is Crazy Nights World Tour 87 to 88. I believe this is live in Indianapolis, 1987. Audience recording sounds pretty solid. Got it for a really good price too. And then here is one of the best known broadcast recordings from the non-makeup period. This is The Ritz on Fire, live in New York, 1988. This has been released so many times under different names and titles and colored vinyl. I believe this is one of the first complete versions that came out of the show. This came out back in 2014 on black vinyl, and it's just a really solid recording overall and just great to have in the collection. The Crazy Nights Chronicles. So this box set features two shows. We have the Spectrum in Philadelphia from December 18th, 87, soundboard show, and it's this show that's also featured partially on Kissology Volume 2. And then there's also another show from, I'm going to botch up this pronunciation, so I apologize to my Swedish viewers. Johanssonshov is Stadion in Stockholm, Sweden on September 17th, 1988. Another soundboard show. So two soundboards from the Creatures Tour. The set's pretty spectacular. Moving on to Hot in the Shade. This is a European 2014 reissue. Unfortunately, no bootlegs from that tour. I really need some. Now we get to Revenge. So this is the sort of metallic reissue from Kiss Online. This is a Kiss Online exclusive, came out for the anniversary. And I also have a 2014 German press of that. And then here we have the Revenge Chronicles. So this brings together a club show from Arizona from April 1992, as well as a show from East Rutherford, New Jersey from 92 later on that year. Both audience recordings, but what's great with having both of these shows featured here in the set is that every song that was performed on the Revenge tour, both from the Revenge album, older stuff as well, is featured in this box set. So it's nice to have all of that together. And then we get to Alive 3, and this right here is the Kiss Online exclusive pressing, which comes pressed on that sort of orange and yellow flame marbled colored vinyl. Here is the Kiss My Ass tribute record. This is pressed on red vinyl. Here's an interesting oddity. One of those weird ones with just artwork that just does not work. This is Kiss live in Sao Paulo, 1994, a broadcast recording. Obviously, as you can see, it has an end-of-the-road era photo on the front here, but obviously era-appropriate photo on the back. And honestly, just down to the set list and the sound quality, this is an absolutely fun and sensational listen. And then moving on to Far, Far Away, Kiss on Japan Tour 1995. This is an audience recording from January 30th at the Budokan in Tokyo, 95. Another great one with a great track list. Just absolutely sensational. Here's a fun compilation. This is As Seen on TV. This is a collection of various TV appearances over the years. So you get things like ABC's in Concert from 74, Mike Douglas, Midnight Special, Fridays from 82, Countdown from 92, Arsenio Hall, Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve, Jay Leno, Letterman, Conan O'Brien. So it's all the way up to till 1995. So 74 to 95, hence why it's here. Unplugged in Melbourne. This is from the convention tour from February 95. And just another great listen, just, you know, taking requests off the cuff and going into deep cut territory. An absolutely fun listen. 2014 reissue of MTV Unplugged. And then here is an unofficial version, which has the CD cover, and the sources for these tracks is all over the place. Like, there's some from the original album, some from the video. It's all over the place, but it's cool to have for the different artwork alone. Now we get to Reunion Era. So here is Stockholm 1996. I believe this was the 100th show of the tour, if memory serves me correct. If someone out there can verify that, please let me know. And this comes pressed on red vinyl, complete show from the reunion, audience recording, and it sounds really, really solid. And then we get into one of my favorite Kiss compilations, and that is Greatest Kiss. And this is the Kiss Online exclusive pressing. Honestly, this comp does a solid job with bringing together the standards as well as deep cuts, pressed on 2 LPs. I was so stoked when they did this because this was only available in the Kisteria box set. So it's cool that they did a special anniversary pressing for this compilation. Next cubicle, we're almost getting to the end. Carnival of Souls, 2014 reissue. 2014 German pressing as well. Here is Nothing Is Quite What It Seems, Psycho Circus, the recording sessions. So this is basically like alternate rough mixes of the Psycho Circus album, different elements raised and taken out. It's an interesting listen when you kind of rack it against the original album. Psycho Circus itself, this right here is the lenticular cover version from 2014. And then here is the standard jacket version. I can get it out. There it is. And this is a Kiss Online exclusive pressing on colored vinyl as well. Alive the Millennium Concert, 2014 reissue. Here is one of my favorite pieces. This is Kiss Symphony Alive 4. This is an original 2003 pressing. Found this out with my buddies, the youngest members of the VC out in Illinois. Cover's a little beat up, but the vinyl plays back absolutely beautifully, and the jacket is still structurally sound, so very happy to have this. And then we kind of have a bit of a jump, and we get into the Alive 35 tour. So this, it says that it's recorded in Norway on the jacket, but I believe it's actually from Hamburg, Germany. It's one of those cases where a different show is described on the cover, but the vinyl has a different show. But the source is taken from the Concert Live CDs that they had done at the time, where they sold them after the show, and it's basically perfect soundboard quality. Nice for a bootleg itself. And then here is another one of those shows. This is from the Download Festival at Castle Donington. This was actually put out by Concert Live themselves, and these are quite hard to come by. So I was very happy to get my hands on one of these when they were available back. This was like in 2014, 2015. Now we get into Sonic Boom. Disclaimer, I don't have an official press, but that's probably the crown jewel of my Kiss collection if I can find it, just because I love that record so much. But I have two unofficial pressings. This is just a basic single jacket unofficial press on red vinyl. And then here is a gatefold version, which comes with a printed inner sleeve with lyrics, and this is pressed on blue vinyl. So I got those two to hold me by. Sonic Boom over London. This is an audience recording of a club show that they did at the O2 Academy back in 2010. And solid set list overall. And there's also a bonus side of tracks from the show in Mexico City from the Hottest Show on Earth tour. And I believe that is sourced from the Concert Live CDs that they did after the shows there. And speaking of which, here is the Hottest Show on Earth. Again, another show that was recorded from the soundboard. This is live at the Auto Club Speedway from 2010. I did see this tour. One of the closest I ever was for a Kiss show. I was about 10 rows back, and it was one of my favorite shows just down to the set list and everything. So it's cool to have a bootleg from that show. That tour, I mean. Here we have NOLA. This is live in New Orleans in 2012. Another sort of broadcast soundboard type recording. Has a cool sort of lenticular sort of cover right there with Gene pointing at you. It's kind of a 3D type effect. Then we get to Monster. This is the sort of later edition because the original pressings have the cross inside the O, but that was changed because of Monster Energy. So this is the modified version. Then we get to Kiss Rocks Vegas. This is just a standard black vinyl US press. Then Kiss World, the best of Kiss. I have several copies of this. This one is the You Discover Music exclusive version, which kind of comes pressed on marbled orange vinyl. This is the Walmart press on red vinyl with colorful splatter. And then here is a black vinyl German pressing as well. And then we get to End of the Road in Hollywood. This was when the band played at the Whiskey A Go-Go in 2019. This was broadcasted on Sirius Radio, so it's basically soundboard source. And then there's a bonus side from Tacoma, Washington, from when the End of the Road tour started. So you pretty much get all the tracks featured here. Solid release. Here is a cool collectible piece. This is Sweden Rock Festival, Sweden on June 7th, 2019. Audience recording, but a very deluxe package with like a leather type trifold jacket, colored vinyl, flyers and such. Really cool piece to have. Now we get into these monoliths here. So this is Chronicles 1973 to 1993. This brings together 6 different shows on 11 LPs total, all on colored vinyl. And there are a lot of shows featured here. We have Miami 76, West Palm Beach 86, Avalon 1980, London 92, Indianapolis 84, as well as the Foundations Forum from 93. So that's all featured here. And they followed that up with Chronicles 2, 74 to 94. So here we have South Bend 74, Uniondale 79, Rockford 82, Brighton 84, Copenhagen 88, as well as Chicago 94. So got that there. And also I love how with just the 2 of these, the first one looking like Kissology 1, this one looks like Kissology 2. Where's volume 3 in white? Give us it. Moving on, we have Wicked Kisses. This is a compilation of various demos, most of which do appear on the Gene Simmons Vault box sets, which I do not have, so I would be more than happy to pay for a vinyl bootleg of some of those demos. Here's another odd compilation, The Archives of Kiss, Legendary Songs from the Early Days. This is just a weird comp of various live renditions of tracks, some of which are from Sydney 1980 and a few other shows. Just because it has Kiss on it means I have to get it. Here is Rock the Box. This is another compilation of TV appearances, most of which appear on the As Seen on TV bootleg that I showcased a little while ago, but I absolutely adore the artwork here. You got those shots of Kiss playing on ABC's In Concert. I just love these photos, so I kind of have to have both, sort of. OCD, gotta love it. And then here is Greatest Hits Live. This brings together recordings from Fresno 79, Detroit 1990, and Buenos Aires 1994. All various soundboard radio broadcasts. It's an odd kind of compilation. We're reaching the tail end, guys. So all here are off the soundboard releases, and these are all Kiss Online exclusive pressings on colored vinyl. Got my hands on all these that have come out so far. So we have Tokyo 2001, Virginia Beach 2004, Donington 1996, Des Moines 1977, as well as Poughkeepsie 1984, and this is the other of the 2 Mark St. John shows as well. And to cap it all off, here is the recent Kiss Icon release, Walmart exclusive on splatter vinyl. While I'm personally not much of a 7-inch collector, a good bulk of my Kiss 7-inch collection resides in the Casablanca Singles 74 to 82 box sets. And as for other 7 inches, I do have the Shout It Out Loud exclusive 7-inch from kissonline.com, as well as this Down on Your Knees 7-inch, which came with the 2LP German pressing of Killers. So like I said, I do also have some notable vintage Kiss pressings that are outside of the main collection itself, but are notable for reasons that I'm going to be showing you guys. So starting off, we have a genuine first pressing of the debut. I say genuine because if you look at side 2, it does not have Kissin' Time on it. So this is a pre-Summer of 74 pressing of the debut before Kissin' Time was added to subsequent pressings to where it is featured to this day. I also have 2 copies of the 77 club pressing of Rock and Roll Over. And yes, this is commonly referred to as the blue tier cover. This was not an intentional, addition to the artwork made at the last minute. There was a printing error with the jackets, thus adding these sort of blue tier-shaped parts near Paul's eyes. So that's why they call it the blue tier. So I have 2 copies of that. Here is a very gracious gift that was given to me by my friend Marikin. This is a first pressing of Love Gun. I'm going to take it out of the jacket just so you can see everything, in this case at least. But it is complete in the sense that it has an unpopped Love Gun, merch order form, as well as a printed inner, and the vinyl itself is an absolutely nice shape. So I'm very thankful to have that, thanks to Marikin. Here is a beat up copy of Alive 2, but looking closely, signed by Ace Frehley. really cool to have. Here is a UK 12-inch from 1982. This is Creatures of the Night and Rock and Roll All Night. This is the sort of dual groove single where if you place the needle down, it plays one track. Lift it, place it in the same position, it plays another track. Pretty cool. Single-sided, comes with some etched autographs on the backside. And then here is a sort of interview picture disc as well, which is pretty nice. Here is a dead sealed copy of Animalize original 84 pressing with the hype sticker. And then here is a 12-inch picture disc single for Crazy Crazy Nights from the UK. As for 7 inches, here is Detroit Rock City backed with Beth. These are just more so stock kind of copies with the exception of a couple 7-inch pieces I'm going to show you guys. Christine 16 backed with Shock Me. Here is a French 7-inch of I Was Made for Loving You with the picture sleeve, which is really awesome. Here is a styrene promo of Shandy, stereo one side, mono on the other. And then here is a 7-inch for the remix of Forever. So that's all the Kiss vinyl, but we're not going to end it there. We're going to delve into Wicked Lester and solo territory. Let's go. Yes, my collection continues inside my closet. Don't judge. But I have 3 different records by Wicked Lester. So here we have the original Wicked Lester sessions. This comes with a Japanese style obi strip pressed on white vinyl with a nice printed inner sleeve with some liner notes. This was kind of before they went in to record the full-length album, which is this right here. So this is the Wicked Lester record that was pulled from being released and to this day has yet to be officially released. And honestly, what do they have left to lose? It's a melting pot of every early 70s cliche that you could possibly imagine. And it's just an interesting listen, you know, for context in history. So that's this album here. And then here are the spring sessions from 1972. So this was kind of towards the end of the Wicked Lester time frame before Gene and Paul went off to start Kiss. And with this, you get alternate versions of Simple Type and various other tracks and different versions of like Lover All I Can, She, and Keep Me Waiting from, you know, the versions that everyone knows that are on the 2001 box set, which do indeed are featured on the full-length album here. So 3 different yet interesting Wicked Lester releases in my collection. Now it's time to tackle some solo territory of the star child himself, Mr. Paul Stanley. Now, most of these are unofficial presses, and honestly, these releases deserve to get official pressings. So, Universal, do something. Here we have his solo album, Live to Win. This came out back in 2006, I want to say. Unofficial press, does come with like a Japanese style obi strip on colored vinyl. There's a couple of variants out there of this, but I do have a lot of great memories listening to this back when it first came out. I remember I got it on CD for Christmas when I was a kid, and it's cool to have a vinyl pressing of that. And then, of course, the notable live release from that tour was One Live Kiss. Now, this was a concert DVD, but this soundtrack was only made available digitally, so it was never released on CD or any other format. So it's basically the soundtrack to the concert film, and this is one of my favorite Kiss-related releases because, you know, outside of Paul playing stuff from the Live to Win album as well as Kiss stuff, he even taps into like deep cut territory, playing A Million to One, Hide Your Heart, Magic Touch. So this is something that diehards can really eat up. And then as for official releases, I do have the You Discover Music purple vinyl pressing of Paul Stanley's Soul Station, Now and Then, his album of doing, you know, R&B, Motown type stuff. I'm not so much an aficionado when it comes to that realm of music and genre, but Paul does it some serious justice, and it makes me want to explore it even more. Nothing, unfortunately, for the demon Gene Simmons, but we're going to jump right into the original Catman, Peter Criss. I have his first 2 solo albums, Out of Control and Let Me Rock You. These are both reissues done by the Rockologists. These were made available on a number of different colors. Of course, because it's Peter, I had to get them on green vinyl. And they sound great, and they're highly, highly reputable, despite what the Criss camp has to say. And I also have a recent reissue of the Cat #1 album as well from the 90s. And also, just to add a little bit of vintage flair, I do also have some originals of those first 2 solo Peter albums. Here is Out of Control, which is still sealed, despite the shrink wrap kind of being torn up a little bit. And here is a German pressing of Let Me Rock You. Now moving on to the KISS member that has had perhaps the most prolific solo career, and that is the original Spaceman Ace Frehley. So I have a Rocktober pressing of Frehley's Comet. This is pressed on marbled blue vinyl. Here is a legal bootleg type release. This is called Live Into the Night. This is recorded live in Milwaukee, 1987. Also have Trouble Walkin'. This is a Record Store Day pressing on yellow with orange inside colored vinyl. Interesting way to describe that. Here is Greatest Hits Live. I had this on CD when I was a kid, so I have a lot of fond memories with the live recordings featured on this collection. Next cube, we have Anomaly from 2009. This right here is a 2017 version, which has some bonus cuts, and it's on colored vinyl. And then here is the Anomaly 10th anniversary pressing. Obviously, this one has different cover art. Same track list as before, and this kind of comes on like color inside color splatter vinyl. The Ace catalog does tend to get repressed a lot when it comes to colored vinyl. Here is Space Invader. I believe this is on clear vinyl. Origins Volume 1. This one's pretty hard to come by. This is pressed on marbled blue vinyl. Here is the 12-inch single for Bronx Boy, and this is on marbled colored vinyl, and it's also numbered as well, number 427. Here is Spaceman. I believe this is on purple vinyl. Here is the indie exclusive version of Spaceman on orange. And then here is a 2LP 45 RPM pressing of Spaceman with Galaxy colored vinyl. Here is a Record Store Day release. This is Frehley's Comet Live. This is on orange vinyl. The live cuts on here are the same as what is featured on the Greatest Hits Live compilation. Here is Origins Volume 2. This, I believe, is on black and gold Galaxy colored vinyl, exclusive from his web store. And then here is the Origins Volume 2 picture disc that came out for Record Store Day. As for 7 inches, I have the 21st Century Singles Collection, 2009 to 2020. Now we're moving on to the Fox Eric Carr. So here we have 3 different copies of the Rockology albums. So this one right here is the Rockologist version, which comes pressed on orange vinyl, which is pretty solid. And we have a 2LP expanded version that came out for Record Store Day, which comes pressed on splatter vinyl, as you can see on the Obi strip there. And of course, just like the Russian solo album picture discs that I have of the main 4, I had to get the recent Record Store Day picture disc version of that as well. So I don't have anything for Vinnie Vincent, and for Mark St. John, I'll give an honorable mention to the White Tiger debut release. But we're going to move on to Bruce Kulick. Now, outside of the main collection, I do have to show this off. I do have the Blackjack album, which does, of course, feature Bruce, as well as Michael Bolton, for that matter. And since now we're approaching 80s era Kiss, I suppose I should mention the Wendy O. Williams solo album as well, which Gene produced, and Eric Carr, Ace Frehley, and such do appear on this album, so I figured it's in the Kiss family, sort of. But moving on to Bruce. So I have this recent pressing of Audio Dog. This was done. This is a fantastic record. This is kind of like the album that exists in between Revenge and Carnival of Souls. This is the blue vinyl version, which comes with the red bonus 7-inch that's inside. And then I also have his most latest solo release, which is the BK3 album. Unfortunately, nothing for the current Spaceman, Tommy Thayer, but for the current Catman, Eric Singer, I do have ESP by the Eric Singer Project. Great little side band with Bruce Kulick and John Corabi from Motley Crue. Ace Frehley does the solo on Foxy Lady. And honestly, this is just a collection of various hard rock covers, some Kiss, some from the same time frame, and it's an absolutely solid listen indeed. So there you guys go. That is my updated Kiss vinyl collection video and the 25th and final episode of the 25 Days of KISSMAS series. I truly hope that this series was enjoyable from start to finish, and many thanks to those that were devoted to catching every single episode, as well as the slew of new subscribers that I got along the way. Whether if you're from the past or present, your viewership matters and is very much appreciated. Merry Kissmas to you all. And now regular programming shall resume. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the records spinning.
Listen, and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow.